Let me ask you something simple. If you could step into a machine, press a button, and instantly appear on Mars, would you do it? No rockets, no months in space, no radiation storms. Just step in here, step out there. It sounds perfect, efficient, elegant, almost magical. But here's the uncomfortable question nobody likes to ask. Who steps out? Is it you? Or is it something that only looks like you? Now, before you think this is science fiction drama, let's slow down and think carefully. Because teleportation, if it ever exists, would not work the way movies show it. It would not be your body turning into light and zipping through space like a glowing ghost. Physics does not allow that kind of shortcut. If teleportation were possible, it would have to follow the rules of matter. And matter has rules. Very strict rules. You are not a solid statue. You are a collection of tiny particles arranged in an extraordinarily complex pattern. Your thoughts, your memories, your personality, they are not floating somewhere above your brain. They are patterns in the structure of your brain. So if we wanted to teleport you, we would have to know the exact position and state of every tiny piece of you. Every atom, every bond, every electrical signal in your brain at that moment. Now pause and think about that. You are made of an astronomical number of particles, more than grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth. And they are not just sitting still. They vibrate, they move, they interact constantly. To teleport you, the machine would have to measure all of that perfectly, but here is the first brutal truth. At the smallest scales, nature does not allow perfect measurement. There is a limit to how precisely you can know certain things at the same time. The act of measuring disturbs the system. This is not a technological problem. It is built into reality. So already, teleportation hits a wall. But let's imagine, for the sake of thought, that somehow we bypass that. Let's say we invent a machine capable of scanning you completely. What happens next? The machine collects all the information about you, every detail. Then it sends that information somewhere else, maybe to Mars, maybe to another city. And there, another machine uses that information to assemble a new body, atom by atom. Structure by structure, if done perfectly, the new person would look exactly like you, think like you, remember your childhood, recognize your family, laugh at the same jokes. From the outside, nothing would seem wrong. But what happened to the original you? To scan you at that level, the machine would almost certainly have to take you apart, disassemble you, reduce you to information. That means the original body is destroyed. Let me say that again slowly. The original body is destroyed. The machine does not move you. It copies you and then eliminates the original. Now here is where it becomes uncomfortable. The copy on Mars believes it is you. It remembers stepping into the machine. It feels continuous, but the consciousness that was standing on Earth, the stream of awareness that was experiencing that moment, has been interrupted, ended. From your perspective, the experience does not continue. It stops, and a new stream begins somewhere else. You might say, but if the copy is perfect, what's the difference? The difference is continuity. Imagine a candle flame. If you blow it out and light another candle with the same shape and same wax, is it the same flame? It looks identical. But the original flame is gone. We tend to think identity is about structure, about pattern. And maybe it is, but from the inside, from the perspective of being, continuity matters. Your experience right now feels continuous from yesterday. You didn't disappear last night and get replaced. There was an unbroken chain of awareness. Teleportation breaks that chain. It creates a gap. And in that gap, you vanish. Now someone might argue, what if the machine doesn't destroy the original? What if it scans you without harm, sends the information, and creates a copy on Mars while you still stand on Earth? Then what? Now there are two of you, both claiming to be the real one, both with identical memories up to that moment. Which one is you? If the copy on Mars stubs its toe, do you feel pain? No, because identity is not just information. It is location in space and time. The moment there are two versions, the illusion cracks. So to preserve uniqueness, teleportation would require destruction of the original. And that destruction is not a side effect. It is central to the process. This is not pessimism, it is logic. Now let's go deeper. Even if we solve the measurement problem, even if we solve the engineering challenge of assembling atoms precisely, there is still something physics whispers to us. Information is physical. It is not abstract magic. It must be encoded in something, stored somewhere. To capture all the information about a human being would require an enormous amount of storage, astronomical amounts. Transmitting that data would take time, immense bandwidth. Teleportation would not be instantaneous in any meaningful sense. You would be converted into data, transmitted at limited speed, then reconstructed. And if anything interrupts that transmission, if a single detail is corrupted, at that scale, tiny errors could have catastrophic consequences. Your brain is delicate. A slight structural deviation can alter personality, memory, cognition. Perfection is required. Physics rarely offers perfection. Now here's another angle. We already know how nature teleports something in a limited way. At the quantum level, there is a phenomenon called entanglement. Two particles can share a connection such that information about one affects the other. But even that process does not move matter. It moves information. And, crucially, it still obeys the rule that the original state is destroyed in the process of transferring it. Nature seems to insist on this principle. You cannot duplicate a complete unknown state perfectly. There is a kind of cosmic copyright protection built into reality. Why? Because if perfect copying were allowed, the structure of cause and effect could collapse. Conservation laws could break. Stability could vanish. The universe guards consistency fiercely. So teleportation, if it ever exists, would not be a doorway. It would be a disassembler, a copier, and a terminator of the original. Now I want you to imagine standing in that machine. You know intellectually that a perfect copy will appear on Mars. You know that copy will hug your family again someday. You know it will insist it is you. But you also know that your conscious experience ends when the machine activates. Would you step in? Would you call that death, followed by replication? This is not a technical question. It is philosophical. What are you? Are you the pattern, or are you the continuous process? If identity is only pattern, then teleportation is survival. If identity is continuous awareness, then teleportation is termination. Physics does not answer that directly. But physics does force us to confront it. And maybe that is the real power of this thought experiment. It reveals how fragile our assumptions are. We assume that if something looks like us and remembers our past, it is us. But continuity is invisible from the outside. Only the individual experiences it. From the outside, teleportation works perfectly. From the inside, it may be indistinguishable from annihilation. And here's the humbling part. The universe does not guarantee the preservation of subjective continuity. Every night when you sleep deeply, consciousness fades. In the morning, it resumes. We assume it is the same stream continuing. But teleportation is not sleep. Sleep preserves the brain structure continuously. Teleportation interrupts it entirely. The atoms that formed your brain are dispersed. The pattern is recreated elsewhere. It is a copy, not a movement. And physics makes movement of complex macroscopic objects instantaneously across space, essentially impossible without this destructive copying process. The dream of stepping into a beam of light and emerging intact somewhere else clashes with the structure of matter. Matter occupies space. It cannot simply vanish from here and appear there without passing through something or being dismantled. So the science fiction fantasy hides a brutal reality. Teleportation does not transport you. It replaces you. And that replacement may feel identical from the outside world. But from your personal perspective, the story ends at the moment of scanning. Now let me end with something deeper. Maybe the real lesson is not about teleportation machines. Maybe it is about identity. We like to think of ourselves as solid, indivisible selves. But physics suggests we are patterns in matter, temporary arrangements of particles obeying consistent laws. Those patterns can, in principle, be recreated. But continuity, the unbroken thread of experience, is something delicate. It is tied to physical persistence. The universe allows copying under constraints. It allows transformation. But it does not offer magical shortcuts that preserve both identity and continuity without cost. So teleportation, as imagined in movies, promises convenience without sacrifice. Physics rarely grants that. Every shortcut has a price. And in this case, the price might be you. So the next time someone says, "Wouldn't it be amazing to teleport anywhere instantly?" Pause, smile, and ask a quieter question. Who exactly arrives? And who never makes it?